So I think this is one of those rare occasions, whether you're a Nintendo player or a PlayStation player or even an Xbox player. I think we can all agree that we're lost in fairly uncharted waters at the moment, as far as the console space goes. On the Nintendo side, we have them yet again between generations doing something weird and wacky with tablets and motion controls and portability in between generations. And then in the Microsoft and Sony camp, we've seen 3 years into the console generation, the normal redesigns with the Slim and the Xbox One S, and then both Sony and Microsoft are releasing beefier versions of their current systems with the Pro and the Scorpio later next year. And before we jump into it, I just want to quickly refresh everybody's memories on how this all started. Like, how did we go from having traditional console cycles all the way up to now we have the PS4 Pro on our doorsteps and the Xbox Scorpio coming next year? And if memory serves me correctly, it was actually around first quarter 2016 this year. We had Phil Spencer, who's head of the Xbox division over at Microsoft. He was the first one who came out and publicly broke the ice on this idea and what Microsoft were kind of thinking about doing with the hardware and the Xbox One, which is basically to refresh the console more regularly and update and step forward the hardware more frequently. And after the initial, 2 or 3 statements he made about it, it went dead. We didn't hear anything from Microsoft about it. We didn't hear anything from Sony about it. It just died. And then you fast forward, probably to mid 2016, and then all of a sudden we've got the PS4 Neo being talked about or rumored about, and we're still getting rumors about Microsoft working on some kind of upgraded console. So fast forward through to today, and we have the PS4 Pro literally 2 or 3 weeks away. We have the Xbox Scorpio confirmed, it's bona fide, it's real, it's launching 2017, somewhere in the holiday period. And pretty much the entire lead up until now, in my opinion's been a bit of a mess and a bit of a disaster for both, really, probably Sony and Microsoft. I mean, we had the PS4 Pro reveal and, at least credit to Sony, they did pretty much say that they're intending to stick to console generations. And then you have Microsoft, who, in my opinion, they did go into details at E3 and they elaborated that any Xbox device, being the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the Project Scorpio, they were all a family of devices. So it kind of put people's minds to rest as far as the backwards compatibility would go. Games would be playable on both systems. You buy one game, you can play it on either system. So that was cool. But for me personally, where it kind of starts to fall apart for Microsoft is their vision and plan for the future. What can we expect? Now, we know from Sony they've said we're sticking to traditional console generations. However, on the Microsoft side of things, the future feels kind of unmapped and uncharted, and they're being very coy and cagey about what's in store for us with the future of the Xbox console. Phil Spencer himself, the head of the Xbox division at Microsoft, he was the one who broke the ice as far as this whole idea of upgradable hardware and hardware that would refresh and step forward every couple of years to stay in the power race. And whether or not he was just referring to the Project Scorpio, I don't know, or if at the time he intended it to be more of a statement confirming that they were intending to do this on a regular basis with all their consoles. I don't know. But you fast forward to this week, and we've just had Phil Spencer and Microsoft confirm that they don't know what the future holds after the Project Scorpio for the Xbox brand and the Xbox as a console. And there lies the problem with me with Microsoft and the Xbox. What is it going to be? What happens after the Project Scorpio? You originally seemed to be really keen on the idea of hardware continually stepping forward, and it was just going to be a family of devices, and each device after the next would support the previous one with the games. It'll be backwards and forwards compatible with online and chat and friends lists and all that crap. Yet you seem to have backpedaled on it. You said that you don't know what the future holds after the Scorpio. At least in the Sony camp, we have them stating that they're intending to stick to some kind of traditional console generation. Now, whether or not between each generation we're going to get a pro console in between, I don't know, but at least you know what you're buying into and you know what to expect, more or less. But I feel like Microsoft have done a really shit poor job of explaining what's to come. Like, I don't feel confident buying an Xbox One S or buying a Project Scorpio if I don't know what I can expect from them in the future. Is my Scorpio going to last 4 years? Is it going to last 18 months? Is it going to last 6 years? For me to invest in your systems, whether it be the Xbox One S or the Project Scorpio, I have to have some kind of rough roadmap for what the future holds. I can't just go buy a Project Scorpio and slap down probably a large amount of cash for it because it's a beefy system. I can't slap down that cash not knowing whether I'm going to get 18 months out of it or 3 years or 5 years before your next superior console releases. And I understand, I get it that Microsoft don't have a crystal ball. But the fact that you don't have any kind of rough roadmap and you can't tell me what's coming after the Project Scorpio, it just doesn't instill confidence in me to buy into your brand. What's the plan? Are we going to see a Project Scorpio 2, a 3 and a 4 every 18 months, every 2 years, every 3 years, every 5 years? And are they all going to fall under the banner of, this is the Xbox family? Are they all going to be forwards and backwards compatible? So to wrap the video up, I'm feeling kind of cautious and uneasy about investing in Microsoft systems at the moment. And I know the Project Scorpio is going to be a really good system. But when I buy into a system, I buy into a system knowing roughly how many miles I'm going to get out of that system. And I can tell you now that if I buy the Project Scorpio and I find out that 18 months down the line they're talking about the next one just on the horizon, I'm going to be a little bit ticked off and pissed, because 18 months prior, I probably slapped down a large sum of money on the premium Project Scorpio, and I'm already finding out that on the horizon there's a new box which takes a giant piss on my now probably considered base model. And while base model doesn't mean obsolete, it also means that I'm not getting the latest and greatest cutting edge experience on my machine anymore. So let me know down below in the comments, guys. Would you be okay investing in the Project Scorpio not knowing how many miles you're going to get out of it? Are you okay if it only lasts 2 years and then it's considered the base model again? Or maybe you have a complete different view and a complete different opinion on it. Let me know down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a good one. My name's Sully. This is One Guy's Opinion, and we're going to talk in the next video.